today we have a book. You know this author. Her name is Julia Donaldson. She's done so many books for kids. The Gruffalo, Room on the Broom, The Snail and the Whale, Tabby McTat. There's so many great stories. This one is called The Detective Dog. And the illustrator of this story is Sarah Ogilvy. Look at this dog. It's so cute. The dog is sniffing around at some books and toys on a shelf. I wonder why. Let's take the cover away and look at the actual book cover. This is the paper cover that a lot of books have when you first get them. And then the book itself has a cover, which sometimes matches and sometimes doesn't. In this book, it's a different picture with no title on the cover. We just see that dog on a leash with some kids and some birds and a fence. And if I open the whole thing, you can see that there's a lot of kids. I wonder where they're going. We'll have to read the story to find out. The end pages just have one picture of the dog. Let's find out more about the detective dog. Have you ever heard of a detective dog? Here's the dog sniffing out the window. It looks like there's a fresh breeze going by. I see some leaves flying in the curtains. Maybe it's a windy day. And this is where we learn about the detective dog. It starts like this. There once was a dog with a keen sense of smell. That means she had a really good sense of smell if it was keen. She was known far and wide as Detective Dog Nell. Sniff, sniff, sniff. Time after time, Nell the detective solved crime after crime. She solves crimes. She figures out mysteries. Like, who threw the hazelnuts down from the trees? Who took the honey away from the bees? We can see who. Who left the poo on the new gravel path? How did the spider get into the bath? Sniff, sniff, sniff. With a wag of her tail, Nell the detective was hot on the trail. We can see she's following a smell. Dogs can smell things that people can't smell. And remember, it's hard to draw a smell in a picture because we can't see smells in real life. So the illustrator decided, what if it were a wavy line that was a little bit green? And that will be the smell. This is a rhyming story, isn't it? Now, Nell shared her house with a person called Peter, a very nice child, though he could have been neater. And 6-year-old Peter was one of those boys who kept on misplacing his clothes and his toys. Sniff, 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 nose to the ground. These are the things that Detective Dog found. The bus in the bowl and the book in the bed. The sock in the sofa, the shoe in the shed, the tumble-down teddy, the bounce-away ball. Nell the detective discovered them all. So Peter leaves all of his things all around, but Nell always knows where to find them. I don't know if she remembers where Peter put them or if she just uses her nose to find them. Now, Nell did detection from Tuesday till Sunday, but did something totally different each Monday. She found Peter's bag and she tracked down her lead, then set off for school, where she heard children read. The children loved reading their stories to Nell, and Nell loved to listen and also to smell. Sniff, sniff, sniff. Mixed in the air were Play-Doh and pudding and newly washed hair, the crusts in the trash and the coats on the hooks, and the best smell of all was the smell of the books. Look at Nell. She's enjoying all the smells of school. Wouldn't it be fun to have a dog at school? Some schools have a dog that belongs to the school or belongs to the teacher. In this school, Peter gets to bring his dog to school on Mondays. Now we're going to talk about the books that she liked. Books about dinosaurs, books about knights, books about planets and meteorites, books about princes who turned into frogs, books about dragons, and books about dogs. Look, she's bringing a dog book over. Read this one. But then came a Monday when all was not well. Nell sniffed the air, and she smelled the wrong smell. Uh-oh, what does that mean? Looks like they're on their way to school. Into the classroom, the two of them hurried and found Mr. Jones looking terribly worried. He tugged at his hair and he let out a sigh. Oh, Peter looked round and he started to cry. Sniff, sniff, sniff. What was going on? The books, cried out Peter. The books are all gone. Oh no, do you see the empty shelves? Who could have taken the books away from school? Oh no. Nell gave a growl when she heard the bad news, but then started sniffing and searching for clues. Sniff, sniff, sniff. On the bookshelf, a cap. The thief must have dropped it, the terrible chap. Chap is another word for a boy or a man. Nell sniffed the cap. Then she tugged on the lead and woof, she was off at astonishing speed. Lead is another word for leash. You probably figured that out. Look at the chair. It looks like a cat. So Nell has an idea of where to go to figure out this book mystery, the mystery of the missing books. Everyone followed Detective Dog Nell. She stopped at the traffic light. What could she smell? Sniff, sniff, sniff. Haddock and hay, pizza and penguins, and farther away, the smell of the thief. And, how very exciting, thousands of pages all covered in writing. So here's another one of those wavy lines. That means she can smell something. Her little nose is wiggling. She thinks she can smell the person who the cap belonged to and the books. Look at this little rat popping out. There are lots of cute little details in the story, in the pictures. Then, woof, they were off with no time for a stop. Past the farm and the zoo and the fry and pie shop. They raced through a field where the rabbits smelled good, then over a golf course and into a wood. So here we are. We see them going all around, past the zoo, all around. Here they are over here, going into the woods. Remember earlier, it said that she could smell penguins. I guess they went by the zoo. That's why she could smell that. They went past a farm. This is the fry and pie shop. All right, let's see. Remember earlier, she said she could smell pizza. Why is there a penguin getting a pizza? Oh, this looks like the cover. Remember this picture? The words say, "They thrashed through the undergrowth, leafy and dense, till they came to a gate in an old wooden fence. Then Nell started growling and pricked up an ear. She barked, and the bark meant, 'The thief is in here.'" Oh boy, what are they going to find on the other side of that fence? I'm glad they have a grown-up with them, their teacher. This is a most unusual field trip, isn't it? They flung the gate open, and Peter cried, "Look!" For there sat a man with his nose in a book. There were many more books poking out of a sack, and the children yelled, "Those are our books! Give them back!" Sniff, sniff, sniff. The book thief looked sad. "I'm sorry," he sniffled. "I know I've been bad. Stealing is wrong, but I just meant to borrow. I was planning to give all the books back tomorrow." To borrow? To borrow? Nell pricked up her ear. She barked, and the bark meant, "I've got an idea." Books to borrow. Does that make you think of a place where books can be borrowed? Not a bookstore. You need money to buy books in a bookstore. Then, woof! She was off, and away they all sped, including the book thief, who told them, "I'm Ted." Sniff, sniff, sniff. They raced through the wood and over the field where the rabbits smelled good. They panted and puffed past the fry and pie shop, the zoo, and the farmyard with never a stop, except to retrieve Peter's scarf and his ball, which someone had thoughtfully placed on a wall. I guess he dropped them. It looks like maybe the elephant gave them back. Till they came to a building with doors open wide. And what did they see when they all went inside? Can you guess? Wow, look at this picture. Thousands of books from the floor to the ceiling. The books gave the thief the most heavenly feeling. He gazed in amazement. "Where am I?" he said. And Peter replied, "In the library, Ted. You can join if you want to. There isn't a fee, and then you can take lots of books out for free." A fee is when they charge money. And Peter is telling him, anyone can borrow books from the library, even if you don't have money. So now Ted has a lovely new library card, and he sits reading books in his little backyard. Oh, he's a little kitty. And when it's Monday, Detective Dog Nell visits the school with the wonderful smell. Sniff, 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 with a faraway look. She smells and she listens to book after book. Oh, this looks a bit like an expanded version of the paper cover that we saw at first. It says, books about dinosaurs, books about knights, books about planets and meteorites, books about princes who turn into frogs, books about dragons, and books about dogs. We said those words earlier in the story. Do you remember? Look at all these pictures of what the books are about. Oh, I see dinosaurs and knights and space books and, Is that a frog's tongue grabbing a fly? Someone kissing a frog prince, dragons, dogs, more dogs. There's penguins up here and lots of other things, bugs. There's a stuffed frog there. All the old books and a new one as well, the story of daring detective dog Nell. Daring means brave. Look here, there's Nell looking at Peter, and it looks like Peter wrote a story called The Detective Dog, and maybe it's a true story of the time they met Ted. You can see all the kids are doing their own ideas. Someone's drawing a family. There's a book about cats, a book about bugs, a book about dragons. Here's a picture of birds in the sky that someone is drawing. Someone made a book about an elephant. That's the great thing about books. You can read them and you can make them yourself. We know what Nell's favorite stories are, right? I love that story. I love the idea of a dog that solves mysteries, and I also love the pictures in this story. I could just look at this book all day. Julia Donaldson, always good if she wrote it. I'm glad you came to Story today. I'll read you another one on another day. Bye.